Le restaurant, c'est le 404.
Le 404.
Il se trouve où sur le 404?
Considéré dans un petit colloque de l'élève. Donc,
the olive branch and it's my flying above it. And in the...
Directement le 91, 75. Le sport effectivement est un... D'Anne-Marie Saint-Jean.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sure that we can do that for you, sir. Uh-huh. Well, that's a good thing, you see. I mean, here we are. I mean, we're Blue Rose paper manufacturers, and you're a gardening firm, and you want to use Blue Rose. That's great, isn't it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Yeah, oh, that's great. Hmm. Well, that's it, you see. I mean, you got the rivals like Conqueror and all of the others like that, but as I say, we're better than them. Well, of course, it's my job to say that. Okay, I will get back to you on that one, sir. Uh-huh, okay, yeah. Yeah, bye now. Okay, yeah, bye. Yeah, see ya. Yeah, see you, Nick.
l'élève. Donc,
Jesus, radio, just don't do it. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Jesus Christ, what's your work radio? This is Jesus Christ. Some music now. It's a bit dreary. Oh. I gotta go. Come on. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot. You goddamn cave cod thing.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you want to come out with me and Sarah tonight?
No, sorry, Steve. I've got to finish off this photography or something. You know what it's like.
Oh, don't worry. Joanne will be there.
Look, you know I can't come. And anyway, I don't like Joanne.
Oh, you liar. I saw you looking at her today.
Yeah, look, I'll see you tomorrow. See ya. I was wondering, would it be okay to do some work in the apartment?
Yeah, that's fine actually. I'm staying late for the open evening, so just pop back later and you can come in the work room.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
What's happening with the dark room then?
Oh, it's okay. There's a student in there, so I'll lock up later on when we're finished.
Okay then, matey.
Okay, see you later.
Cheers.
What? God.
I'll do that. How about the people we got?
Lovely, Mike. I don't think back to your assertive restraining. In fact, Preston School's been sending the prefect on management courses for 3 years now. Just rely on other people. We just realise that other people's interests are just as important as our own.
The head teacher at Preston School is John Hollis. It was his bright idea to send the prefect on a management training course. Well, given that the people seem to be an exceptionally bright bunch, I wondered why he felt they needed it.
Oh, God, sorry, Paul. Is that wrong? It's just got to me. Would it be alright if I were to have a lift home tonight?
Yeah, but go and drop your stuff off to my room and I'll meet you by the car.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Alright,
okay.
thanks.
Yes.
See you.
Yeah.
Take the song to my lover, shoo shoo little bird. go and find my love. Melody d'amour, serenade at her window. Shoo, shoo, little bird, sing my song of love. Oh, tell her I will wait. If she names the date, tell her that I care more than I can bear. For when we are apart, how it hurts my heart. So fly, oh fly away, and say I hope and pray this lover's melody will bring her back to me. Melody d'amour, take the song to my lover. Shoo, shoo, little bird, go and find my love. Melody d'amour, serenade at her window. Shoo, shoo, little bird, tell her of my love. Oh, tell her.
varied and controversial one. Although there have been claims to many sightings, a lot of these are explainable, and some are hoaxes. The phenomenon of UFOs appears to be a relatively new one, having been primarily introduced to the public 40 years ago, when a private American pilot called Kenneth Arnold reported seeing a group of what seemed to be flying saucers, travelling at a high speed while he was flying his small aircraft. Although research has since proved Arnold's sightings were not the first, it was the first sighting that caught the media's attention. The term flying saucer, so called because Arnold stated that the movement of the craft or object reminded him of how a saucer would look if skimmed across water, became a household name overnight. Reports from before the 1940s are very valuable. Sightings of strange flying objects have been documented for hundreds of years. In 1820, the formation of flying objects crossed over the town of Embrun in the south of France, changing direction and flying away in perfect formation. In 1661, huge flaming objects were seen over Worcester. But reports go even further back to biblical times, with the prophet Ezekiel describing what is probably a UFO.
And I looked up, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, and the brightness was about it. The appearance of the wheels and their work was unto the colour of beryl, a wheel in the middle of a wheel, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up.
So, what are we seeing? Reconstructions, hoaxes or cons for publicity? Have people's imaginations run away with them? Surely there are explanations for lights in the sky. Is the media encouraging the public's imagination into believing that creatures from another planet are frequently visiting us? What about people who claim to have been abducted? Are they dreaming, or is it another con? There is sufficient evidence to suggest that humans have been in contact with alien beings, and there is sufficient evidence to suggest that governments have or had contact with aliens and covered up their meetings or encounters. In East Anglia. Back in the 70s and 80s, it was home to the American air bases Brentwaters and Woodbridge. At this time, the bases were some of the biggest storers of atomic weapons in England. On the night of the 27th of December 1980, the alien entities appeared to be excessively curious of the American air bases, and it is claimed that they landed or crash-landed in the forest.
There was an incident several years ago at Rendlesham Forest where UFOs were buzzing the base at Bentwaters, and that was the largest American storage depot of atomic bombs in Europe at the time.
I read that the spacecraft, well, I think there's been a couple of incidences there, haven't there, UFOs at Rendlesham Forest. But one crashed in the forest, so I wasn't sure whether that was an observation or whether it was a mistake on their part.
Well, as I say, they're very interested in the installations where there are atomic bombs and so on, and they were very interested in the bases around Rendlesham Forest. That was the Woodbridge and the other base. The fact that one landed in the forest was witnessed by quite a few Americans. They actually went out in jeeps and surrounded one that had landed. And I interviewed one of the American policemen, Larry Warren. He said there were about 60 American Air Force police surrounded this object, and 3 alien beings came out of the object, and the head of the American base went up and conversed with them in some way.
Yeah. Is that the conversing telepathy?
It must have been. We don't know quite what happened. I mean, it's so top secret that very few details have come out other than it happened. But the beings were possibly interdimensional because they were almost transparent. They weren't solid bodies such as you and I.
What were they like? Were they tall or small?
Well, they actually increased their height. They were something like 4 foot tall. The American base commander was over 6 feet, and apparently one of these things stretched itself up to his height to converse with him. This is according to an eyewitness, Larry Warren.
However, the authorities denied that they had contact with the UFO and the entities inside, even though many US and British soldiers had seen the amazing phenomenon take place in front of their very eyes. One such soldier was American Larry Warren, who, at 19, witnessed the whole affair.
Out in front of me, as we approached, I could see, as I was watching this mist on the ground, there was other Air Force personnel, security, police, all throughout this field. Over in the distance was 2 cameras, and one was a video camera, one was a motion picture camera, and at the time the video cameras were very bulky technology, but I recognized it for what it was. Everything I saw in this field was documented on film that night, both on still photographs and on motion picture. There's no doubt about it. What I saw, I'll walk to the center of the area where this mist was. You can see it clearly. Ground zero would be here. After watching this object on the ground, a red ball of light moved in. I thought it was an A-10 taxiing to RAF Woodbridge behind me, about a mile. Came in over that far stand of trees, stopped over the circular fog-like object on the ground, dispersed in an explosion of color that was soundless, heatless, and what happened was a transformation somehow of this mist to a structured object. It was about 30 feet at the base, 20 feet in height, and a bank of blue lights at the base of it, and mother of pearl or rainbow effect all over. It was very difficult to look directly at. The worst thing to happen to me was that when the event transpired, when there was that transformation somehow, some senior people ran off into these woods, into these fields, and left us here. And why I didn't run could have been shock or whatever, but a number of us ran and a number of us just stayed glued.
Are we to assume that Larry Warren imagined what he saw? We know through a documents lead that something strange happened in the forest that night, but no one will admit it, dismissing the happening as a few lights in the sky. But how do we know it wasn't just that? Lights in the sky are common, and 95% are explainable. How do we know what Larry Warren saw? He may have been dreaming or drunk. He may truly believe he saw alien beings land next to the airbase and humans communicate with them. But no one else has given a statement to back up Larry's story. The event may have been a military experiment that the troops didn't know about. In 1959, Jack Judge took this picture. It looks like a typical UFO, almost exactly like you would expect. However, it was built by the USA Air Force and was called the AVRO Dish. It was a kind of hovercraft and was abandoned in the experimental stage. Bob Dean was often given Special Forces operations. One of these was to help investigate unidentified flying objects which had been appearing all over Europe.
While I was attached to SHAPE headquarters, I got this document out of the vault every chance I had. The planet Earth is, and has been, the subject of extensive, massive, and very thorough detailed survey by several extraterrestrial civilizations. These civilizations have demonstrated an extremely advanced technology, possibly hundreds or even thousands of years beyond ours.
This picture was taken by Adamski, an American man who claimed to have been abducted by Venetians. A sketch of a Nordic, the kinder species of alien. They often bring messages of peace and ecology. Nasties of the alien world. They are said to abduct humans and not care if they harm or hurt you. But what evidence are these? Just sketches that people say they have made on contact with aliens. Our final case is a jewel in the crown for all UFO enthusiasts, possibly the most famous UFO crash in its history so far, the New Mexico Roswell case.
Yeah.
Okay. What can you tell me about the Roswell, New Mexico case?
The Roswell case, well, this happened in July 1947 when it's claimed a UFO crashed on the ranch of Max Brazel in New Mexico. Roswell was the headquarters of the American atomic bomber squadron. In fact, the only squadron in the world to carry atom bombs at that time. So it could have been of interest to UFOs. There was a heavy storm one night and a loud explosion was heard during the storm. And the following day, Max Brazel was out riding on his ranch. And he came across an area of the prairie littered in silver foil-like wreckage. He contacted the local sheriff, who in turn contacted the American Air Force, and they went out and investigated the wreckage. Then the American Air Force released a story to the local press saying that apparently a flying saucer had crashed in the desert there. But shortly afterwards, this story was denied, and they held a press conference saying that the wreckage had been misidentified and it was actually silver foil from sometime a Met balloon or high-altitude balloon. However, although the story appeared to die at the time, witnesses came forward over following years and described how they'd been in an area of the desert and had stumbled across a crashed silver disc with 3 alien bodies lying by the craft, and actually one of them was still alive. While they were there, the American military had turned up in jeeps and so on, and quickly surrounded this craft and told them to forget what they'd seen. Various other witnesses came forward, which makes it apparent that the bodies were taken to a nearby hospital and an autopsy carried out on the bodies, and it's believed that the alien that was alive was kept alive by the American authorities, who possibly exchanged information with the alien. But he died, or it died, about 2 years later. It's believed that the aliens were the type called the Greys.
All right, yeah. Did they die naturally? Was it like, can they not take our atmosphere, or did they?
Well, the Greys have been called EBs, which is extraterrestrial biological entities. So they might possibly be almost plant life. We don't know, but they do seem to be able to exist in our atmosphere. Although whether they are dependent on our atmosphere, I don't know.
Right, thank you very much.
Right.
With so much evidence mounting up, we must accept the fact that there are UFOs around in our skies. The Air Force offers us no explanation. The government denies all knowledge, which means the public must draw their own conclusions. What do you think?